As Apple revealed its new operating system for iPhones and iPads at the start of June, there was little fanfare. When iOS 12 is released publicly this autumn, there will be a big focus on performance and stability. Apps will run faster, batteries will last for a longer. But since the initial announcement around iOS 12, developers have been digging down into its features and several are focusing on simplifying user security and privacy. As well as making swipes at Facebook and Google's data-driven advertising models, Apple has also been pushing to make it harder for police and law enforcement agencies to improperly access the information stored on iPhones. Tim Cook's firm is evidently trying to distance itself from its other big rivals. While some of the new additions to iOS 12 unique to Apple, other security features are copying what's been available on Android devices for some time. Here's a rundown of the things Apple has revealed since the public demo of iOS 12. Stopping police from Apple has history with law enforcement. In 2016 it publicly clashed with the FBI after it was accused of not helping to unlock a terrorist's encrypted iPhone. Critics argued it was getting in the way of justice. Apple said creating a way into the phone would mean weakening the security of every iPhone. At some cost, the FBI eventually paid another company to force its way into the handset. Apple is trying to slow down the crazy smartphone hype cycle. Since then, tech has emerged that claims to be able to get into any iPhone. Police in the US have been quick to snap up the Grey key to open any iPhone from Israeli firm Celebrite. In response, Apple slyly included a new locking provision in iOS 12. The operating system will cut off data transfers through a USB port when the phone hasn't been unlocked in an hour. It essentially makes it much harder for the Grey key to unlock a phone. The USB restricted mode has been tested in the previous version of iOS, but the time limit was 1 week. The addition means that unless law enforcement bodies unlock a phone within an hour of a crime, it could have trouble getting into it at all. Simplifying sign-in two-factor authentication, where a code or authentication is needed to log in to a service as well as a username and password, can be a pain. It often requires the non-complex but fiddly action of copying a 6-digit SMS code into the app you're logging into. As such, Android added the ability for your phone to recognize these numerical strings when they hit your inbox and can automatically use them in the app you are accessing. Apple developers have liked the system enough to introduce the same automated functionality into iOS 12. Giving your location to emergency services, and a move that will only be available in the US to start with. Apple is allowing emergency calls through the 911 number to give fire, police and ambulance services a caller's location data. Apple introduced a system called Hybridized Emergency Location Hello in 2015, which allowed it to estimate an emergency caller's location based on mobile phone towers, GPS and Wi-Fi information. It has since announced it will use technology from a company called RapidSOS to provide the location estimated by Hello to authorities for those with iOS 12. Apple claims only the call center that answers the emergency call will be able to access the location data, and they won't be able to use it for anything else. We're calling it PGP is dead encrypting group. FaceTime calls with an iOS 12. FaceTime is being expanded to include group calls for the first time. When it's released, up to 32 people will be able to be on one video call. In a vaguely impressive feat, Apple has kept FaceTime's end-to-end encryption intact. The update provoked debate among security researchers who speculated how Apple had managed to keep the encryption across voice and video while there are so many participants. Protecting your data from Facebook. During its worldwide developer conference, Apple took a swing at tech companies that rely on collecting user data. Specifically, on screen during its presentation, it called out Facebook. The Safari browser in iOS 12 will issue pop-ups when third-party like buttons and comment fields appear on websites. When the announcement was made, a pop-up from Facebook was shown on Apple's presentation slides.